wonderful. What have you seen on the front, I would say, front end of customer experience? Because we're all talking about seamless operations, right? Back end and front end. So any breakthroughs you've seen past year and this year, maybe?
I think the breakthroughs, now that the models and the approach on how to build machine learning models are, they're quite well known now. There's not many people that hold the secret key to any of these things. It's the approach is pretty much accepted, and it's pretty much the same for any company trying to build AI models. I think companies have started to focus on the front end. It's really about how to make it more user friendly, how to have a user interface. Previously these companies never even had a proper user interface. It was just about the technical aspects of it, so a data scientist can use it and code everything in. It's really the user interface, the front end, that has really changed and revolutionized over the past 12 months. And that will continue to proliferate over the next year or so. So it will almost become the norm now. So if you have an AI tool which is looking at building some sort of algorithm, it must have a user-friendly interface. Otherwise, it's not going to do well in the market. And I've also seen another trend as well, which is happening, which I did forget, is tools that bring everything together. So what I mean by that is, you have, let's say if you're a very big bank and you have many different departments, many different leaders, and they've all chosen different automation companies, different AI companies to solve various different things that the company needs. But for you to continue on your digital transformation journey, how do you do that when you have 30 different moving parts around you? So a big trend that's really picking up, and it's really quite recent, really the past 6 months or so, is process automation or workflow automation companies. So one that's really impressed me the last 6 months or so is a company called Firestart, who are directly competing with Appian and Bizagi and Nintex and those guys, those kind of Pegasystems, which are pretty big companies. But they've come with a very easy approach. They can basically plug into any automation company. They can plug into any AI company and still provide the business user with that one view of everything that's happening in their workflow. So the issue with a lot of transformation programs was, great, we have all these solutions to make the company more efficient, but how do you still give business users control of what they do every single day? And these tools which are coming into the market thick and fast, they are starting to solve these problems, and they're starting to give companies back control of the very operations which everybody's been trying to make more efficient. So I think once that also becomes mass adopted, these workflow automation tools, it's going to allow digital transformation to break through a glass ceiling. Whereas, a lot of companies, they start their journey after 2 or 3 years, they kind of reach a point where it stagnates. They can't really find anything else very interesting to automate or to build an algorithm for. And they kind of just sit in that limbo state for a while until they figure out what to do. I think these workflow automation tools, which will give the end-to-end visibility, they're going to allow companies to kind of have more vision, to be able to understand, okay, this is how everything is connected. This are all the things that we haven't touched yet. Let's go and play with that. Let's go and make that part of the business more efficient. So it's going to allow, I think, this whole market to scale big time. So a very big trend that's new, but coming up thick and fast.
Again, another major one, because when we talk about convergence of technologies, and I'm thinking about enterprise stack at average to, mid-size to large companies, the amount of legacy applications, the amount of new applications, a business user has to absorb and be fluent in. Yep. So absolutely, those integrating tools you're talking about, those are really improve the employee's experience, right, to serve customers better.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's when I think low code or no code is going to come in. Where I think low code came in at the wrong time. It was too early for its day. I think now is the right time for low code once they're embedded into these integration tools. So for instance, I'm going to give you a practical example because I think people want to know how the stuff works practically. Say I'm a business user and I have a 600-step process that I work on every day. Let's say there's 4 different automation companies that have different bots at different parts of this process for some strange reason, but it happens. I have a script that does part of that process. I have an Excel macro that's part of that process. I have an AI algorithm that's part of that process. how can I possibly, if something is broke along the way, I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs because I don't have the skills to build a robot or to fix a robot. So a tool that's layered on top of that, which is a workflow automation tool, will finally give me the stats and give me the live view of everything that's happening on a day-to-day basis. And then very quickly, I can ping somebody who can fix that bot for me, or I can do it myself if it's built on low code. Then on top of that, if there's something quick that I see that hasn't been automated, but it isn't worth the time from the center of excellence, from the robotics team, I can just go and build it myself with a low-code solution. So, that kind of, I think this is a very good thing for especially people who are worried about losing their jobs, learning about this, because it finally creates that pathway, that bridge that they can cross from being a simple business user who knows how to copy and paste and do reconciliations and just understand the systems well, to being a business user who is a tech business user hybrid. And this is the workforce of the future. A person who knows how to do processes well, but a person who understands how to use the technology applied to the things that they do every day. So that finally is going to secure the jobs for the people of the future who were once worried that they might lose it because of automation.
Yep, we talk a lot about this topic, of course, exactly, because a lot of people are worried, and this is fantastic pathway, because we talk about upskilling, which is first step, right, to kind of realize technology out there and how do I get those skills. But what you're saying on the job, actually, you don't need to go to college and drop everything and start the new class. You basically, right, you're learning on the job and you're becoming a creator, right? If you're finding this solution, right, with tools that are available to you, you are a creator, you're adding value to the business. So that way you are your human best, right? With your empathy and with your talent, with your unique talent.
Exactly. And it's also it's good news for companies too, because it doesn't mean that they have to have people who are process experts and people who are IT experts. That those two worlds are finally going to come together and collide, where the worker of the future will be a hybrid of those two worlds together.